welcome to another vlog. Yes, we are filming in my sunroom, so I don't know if there's an echo or anything, but it's 81 degrees in my house right now, and it's just been so hot here. I'm sure if you're on the East Coast, you understand this heat dome thing that we're in. I can't tell y'all the last time I saw rain here. I was at the beach last week, 2 weeks ago, I don't remember. Last week, yeah. And it rained there, but inland, no, I have not seen rain. Again, I can't tell you the last time. So it's just very dry and hot here. And that being said, we don't want lights on in the house because that just brings in heat. So we want to keep it as cool as possible so the lights are off in there. But I do want to go into my weekly TBR, and this is my reset vlog, which my reset vlogs are my favorite. I love them. And yeah, I didn't have a vlog up last week. I'm debating on if I should take off a week of vlogging every month, but I don't know if that's something I want to do yet. So that's just something to think about for next year probably. But I'm still reading The Best American Short Stories by Ann Patchett. I should finish this one on Wednesday. I went to the vet. Y'all would have saw that. I took Bud to the vet. This was Bud's first appointment. So a gender reveal. So Bud is actually a girl. I thought that she was a girl because, sorry to be vulgar, she doesn't have balls. And because after I saw a cat who did have some, I was just like, those things are huge and my cat does not have that. So yes, so she's gonna be in spayed in 2 weeks, I think is when it was. So yeah, so she went to the vet. She was so nervous, as you all saw, like when my dad let her out the crate, she was just like she went running, and she went to the woods, but she came back. She's back home now. But yes, but she was actually very well behaved, probably because she had never been there before, so she didn't know to be scared or anything, but she just sat in her cage and was quiet. She meowed some, like a little French bulldog came over and she meowed at him, but she's really good. All my vets are usually whining or barking, so when they behave, I'm like, wow, I'm a good pet mom. But yeah, so she got all her shots and testing to see if she had any diseases, and she doesn't. So she is a healthy kitty, which is nice because she's my first pet that was a feral cat. And so you never know because they didn't have any medical history. Like when you adopt a pet from the shelter, you know they've had certain shots. So yeah, we have no idea if she was fixed or not, but the vet told me that if they cut her open and she's fixed, they just sew her right back up, and that's that. So we'll just have to see what happens. But yes, so I am still reading The Best American Short Stories. We got on that tangent because I did not get to read in here today, but I have 2 more stories in here, so I will be finishing this one this week. And then I am starting a new book today. It is In the Weeds by B.K. Borison. This is a grumpy farmer and no-nonsense social media influencer have another chance at love in this charming romantic comedy. So for tropes, it's the grumpy sunshine and a second chance romance. But Beckett, who is our male lead, was my favorite in the first book in this series, which is Love Light Farms. He was my favorite character in that, so he gets his own installment. And I feel like it's rare for romance books to have a male side character become the main character in another book. I've never really seen that, so hopefully this is good. The first book was decent. It was a 3-star. Debate on hauling it, but when I saw this one's about Beckett, I was like, maybe I should keep it until we get to that. And then my mood read, which I am about halfway into, I think I'm at 49%, chapter 7, is Where the Line Bleeds by Jesmyn Ward. So this is a story about brothers and familiar conflict, and it's Joshua and Christoph are twins raised by their blind grandmother in rural Bosawaj on Mississippi's Gulf Coast. Over the course of a single life-changing summer, as they struggle to find work and contend with the reappearance of their parents, Syl, who left town for a better job, and Sandman, a dangerous addict, the brothers are forced into a series of decisions that will ultimately damn or save them both. A delicate and closely observed portrait of fraternal love and strife, and the bonds that sustained or torment us. Where the Line Bleeds marks the beginning of Jesmyn Ward's extraordinary career in fiction. So this is her debut. And then my ebook pick is An Echo in the Bone by Diana Gabaldon. I have not picked this up in over a week. I really need to get to it. And this is following a family during the American Revolution with some time travel elements involved. So those are all of the books I'm reading. I'll be starting this one in about 4 minutes here. Again, doing the audiobook for that. So that should be a quick read because I only have finished 4 books this month. I just filmed my wrap up, but they've been tomes, they've been over 500 pages, and I've just been experimenting with mood reading. Guys, it did in fact rain and the temperature went down to 78. Yeah, earlier when I checked the heat index on my phone, it was 102. Inside my house was 84. So thank you, rain, thank you so much. So I'm gonna have some dinner. I want to make pasta. I'm like, can I make pasta in my rice cooker? We're gonna try it out and hopefully it works. I'm looking because the AC's making the leaves on that plant move and I was like, what is that noise? But yes, so we're gonna hope that this works out. I've been wanting pasta for a long time and I made some last week, but yeah, I had some last week, so it's been like 8 days that I've been wanting it since then. This kind of pasta, or penne pasta, because I had some spaghetti and there was like a whole clove in my spaghetti, a clove of garlic, and that just kind of grossed me out that they didn't chop it up good enough. So I'm gonna go make some pasta for myself. I need to stop talking because it's already 7:50. I'm gonna go eat. I don't have a reading update for y'all in the romance book. I got it to like 24% by Storygraph, and on Goodreads it was something completely different. Why is that? I don't know. So I got this package like a month ago and just have never opened it because I suck at opening packages. Yeah. So this is a shirt I got at Target. Okay, is this gonna be one of these hard to open ones? No. It smells really good. Ooh, I don't know. I thought this would be a better material, but it's kind of like scratchy. Why does it smell so good? I had this over by my Lush package, so I don't know if it just seeped in over a while, but I'm not a huge fan of, the sleeve is a good material, but up here, like that's not nice quality. And it's by one of the designer brands, Janae Naylor. So like I expected more. And it is kind of like really like boxy looking. So this is definitely one that I'm gonna have to try on before I take the tags off and just see. So this is the Future Collective. Check out other things from this that I thought were better. But this one maybe needs to be washed first. I don't know where. So I'm gonna have to see what the fit looks like and then find something out. Me forgetting this is a reset, so we need to do reset things. We're gonna go in here and I am gonna turn on the light because at nighttime obviously you do need light. Let's turn on the fan as well. But as I said, the temperature dropped by like 20 degrees, which, oh, that's so good, so good. Okay, we're putting y'all there and we are gonna do my book sorting. So yes, I do have craziness happening over here because I have been filming the videos and let me move this tripod actually. Filming videos and my videos, I only have a stock of books I'm talking about and I just haven't been putting them back. I haven't been organizing because I usually save that for this video. So that's what we're going to do here today. We are going to sort through all the books that I've hauled. Yes, I've got 10 free books in June. More might happen. I don't know, because I went to a little library on Saturday, didn't find anything, but there are some more that I'm probably going to be checking out in the next week. Or I say probably. Ooh, I am going on a day trip on this weekend. I don't know what I'm trying to say. This weekend. So I do need to see if that town, because it's a town I've never been to before, see if they have little libraries. I say town, it's probably bigger than my city, but I'll have to look into that. So I have a lot of books I need to sort. This is my wrap up of the month so far. I'm not going to be unhauling any of those. No, I'm not unhauling any of those, so don't unhaul this month. But I'm going to sort these by genre and then by page count. to see which ones are going to be mood reads. My mood reads, they have to be, what was it? They had to be at least 300 pages, and or that's the max. Max is 300. And then, since this is the end of a quarter, July starts our second half of the year, I need to move some of these books to my bookshelves. I have empty spots on my bookshelves of books that I read, and now have just empty spots because I haven't put anything there, and then putting books in my TBR carts. So we're gonna be book sorting. Light on? No, let me turn a light on. Whoa, I'm blue. Blue. If y'all get the reference, thumbs up. So I got all of them sorted by genre. Look at that historical fiction stock. Then we have sci-fi, Fred, thrillers, romance, fantasy, contemporary, nonfiction, and then we have the mood read books back there. So now I'm gonna have some dessert first, and that should not be on. Okay, I'm gonna have some dessert first, and then after I have my dessert, if I have time, I am going to put books on my shelves. So the genres that I read in the last quarter, in March we did historical fiction, in April we did classics, and in May we did contemporary. Oh, March doesn't count, my bad. That's weird. So April we did classics, and in May we did contemporary, and in June I just did my own thing. So we are going, this stack is, the books we just sorted will go into the TBR carts. So we're taking books out of the TBR carts to put them on my shelves. So first we're gonna do classics. And I don't think I have that many classics. I don't really own that many classics that I haven't read. So let's go over here. I think they're in this cart right here, which y'all could have seen behind me. And let's set our camera up. Yeah, I had Zaxby's yesterday, and I think my cup was leaking because there's just these circles everywhere where I had my drink, and they're kind of sticky, so that's annoying. But that's besides the point. Is this where the classics are? I think these are all contemporary in that one. Some fantasy, so that's all. I think this is all historical. So do I not have any classics? We need to go to Goodreads and see. I did have my dessert to let y'all know. I had a scoop of ice cream. It was pretty good. Okay, we'll just load. Let's go here, see my shelves, classics. Yeah, none of these are in the cart. So now we move on to contemporary, which we do have some contemporary picks. So let's see how many I can fit on here. We're just gonna get like 2 out at the moment. So is our contemporary in this one? No, that is historical. So the contemporary starts here. So let's just pull out 2 right now. We have There by Tommy Orange, and then Oh Beautiful by Young Yun. And let's see how many we can fit on, not this shelf because this is all books I've read, and this shelf is starting to be books I've read. So we're gonna see how many. You can see there's an opening right there, and just see how many we can fit. Those 2 books I showed y'all were the only ones I could fit on my shelf, but I do have more room in here now, so we're gonna put some contemporary books in there. So the contemporary books that I have to put in my TBR cart are Wellness by Nathan Hill. Let's see, what does this fit? Then I have Own the Come Up by Angie Thomas, which I've since learned this is the 2nd book in the series. I thought The Hate You Give and this were standalones, but The Hate You Give comes first. So do I need to read that first? Let me know. Or do I need to put this in my sequel stuff? I'm feeling like I need to put in my sequel stuff. We're doing it. And then I have The Comeback by Ella Berman. Yes, the book of the month books are really big, so you never know if they're gonna fit. And then I have Here I Am by Jonathan Safran Foer. I actually do need to make my TBR for September, which is going to be thrillers. So we're gonna go on my shelves, get some thrillers off. So I think I'm gonna do 6 books. So 5 of those will be thrillers and then 1 nonfiction. While filming this, I realized I don't even have my July and August TBRs written in my TBR journal. So, or not my TBR journal, my reading journal. So I am going to do that. And then if I still have time, I only have 9 minutes. I do have my September TBR right there, but yeah. I got to over the halfway point and where the line bleeds. So I'm gonna give you all my thoughts on this now. I'm disappointed. This is like a high 2-star. I really just, Jesmyn Ward's books have always really intrigued me, and I own 2 more. I own the sequel to this, which is already in my sequel stack, and then I own another one, which all of her books, there's like Easter eggs throughout, like Taylor Jenkins Reid. They're like set in the same universe. So that's why I'm reading them in publication order, which this is her debut. So she could have grown as an author, because when was this published? I know it takes place in like 05, so 08. Man, what a time. So I definitely think that since 2008, her writing has probably evolved. So it will be interesting just to see if the more books I read, the better they get. Well, let's go into my thoughts. So characters, at first I was getting our 2, because they're twins, our 2 main characters, Joshua and Kristoff, and I was getting them confused. There wasn't a whole lot of dialogue to start the book off, and it's in 3rd person, and I was just not getting a grasp on which character is which. But now Joshua is more of like the sweet character, the sweet brother who he wants to do good, he wants to please his family, and he's been my favorite. Then Kristoff, he's more of our troublemaker. Things aren't necessarily going as planned for him, and he's having a bit of a harder time than Joshua. So I do have them, I know who's who, and then the family, I don't have any of the family confused. Their friends are all interchangeable. Yeah, so I don't want to say I don't have an emotional connection, but they're like 2D. They're good, but I don't think they're fully developed. But this is the first book in a trilogy as well. So, but then I think back to Frederick Bachman, and I'm like, with Beartown, that could have been a standalone. The character work was so good, and then he gave us 2 more books. Atmosphere is a 5. The atmosphere is by far the best part. There was this, in one of my favorite newspaper articles, it was talking about the area where I live, and it was like 2-lane highways connecting pine forest and farmland, and it was basically the same, not exactly the same, but talking about the pines and the farmland, and I'm just like, that's home. So I do think the Southern culture in this is great. Like if cornbread gets mentioned, I'm like, yep, 5-star, you know, for atmosphere. So yes, the dialogue, the dialect, I mean, the culture, ecosystem, all of that, spot on, perfect. The writing is good. I would give the writing a 3. It is very descriptive, but not in a bad way. But I still think there's a lot of show not tell. Like she's showing a lot, but there's not a lot of dialogue, which I would prefer if there was a little bit more dialogue. And then plot, I'm just kind of bored. We're just following the day-to-day life. I'm like, yes, this is very much slice of life. This is how a lot of people, as I said, this book takes place in 2005, but it's still prevalent to today of how it is in the South, and graduating from school, coming of age, having to get a job in a small town where there's not a lot of options. And so it's just, I'm bored with it. Like the plot's not that intriguing. But again, this is a trilogy, and then I can go back to this trilogy where I'm like, how are they both trilogies? I shouldn't be comparing. So I read 15 pages in there today, and I'm going to go get a bath and do my nighttime routine. And I totally had pasta sauce on me, on my hands too. But I am gonna go get my bath and all of that, and then read some of Outlander. And I don't think I'm gonna get to edit this video because in a writing group that I'm in, I have to get stuff done. So we'll just see if I might edit my video first because that is ultimately more important. And if I'm done by 10:30, I'll do some writing. But if it's past 10:30, I'm not doing any of that. We are continuing with some book sorting. The things are looking kind of, I don't know, I kind of like how they look. So we are in my living room, and this is the basket of all my mood reads. I know this Catcher in a Word book is like awkwardly tall compared to the rest of the books in here, or compared to the other paperbacks. So this is where I get my mood reading books from. I just realized I did it kind of wrong. So we're gonna take those out. Actually, they're gonna go right back in, don't worry. But we want to move up these also to be taken out. Okay, so we move, this is a really confusing process. Like, why do I do this stuff to myself? I don't know. And these headphones are all, what in the world is this cord? I did not know this thing had a cord like that. Yeah, these are old school headphones. I don't even remember. These were mine back like 15 years ago. I don't remember what this plugs into. Cyber home. I don't know. I kind of, those outlets in cars, would they make headphones for cars? That doesn't seem safe to me, but they might, who knows. So those were stuff I found while cleaning not a few months ago, a few weeks ago. So we need to bring up some of the books from the bottom of this stack because they need to be read before these that were in this basket. But now I'm like, no, I don't know how to do this. Because how would these bottom books go? Well, these were on the bottom and they move up. So maybe I do put these back. I had them, so I'm gonna say all down. Sorry for the bed stuffings. My dog was just in her bed over here, and dogs like to dig in beds, if you weren't aware. And pillows, and this wasn't from a pillow, but first book that I have here is All the Seasons Never Lived. And sometimes I feel like I do need to go back and look at the writing style to see if this is a book that I want to keep. And right now this does look like it. It doesn't look like it's too long. That's how I've been buying books lately. If you have paragraphs that go on as long as a page, I'm not gonna buy your book. And if I want it to be at least 3 paragraphs on a page, so that's why I do all that. So we're gonna put that one in. Then we have an Unlasting Home. This is set in Lebanon, Iraq? Is it Iraq? I don't know. What's the politically correct way of saying that? India, United States, and Kuwait. Okay, so it passes the test. Love that, because I have really been liking Middle Eastern books lately. And then we had The Trees by Percival Everett, which is, oh my gosh, these chapters are so short. Thank you, Percival Everett. And I got this one used, and look how good that is, like good condition that is. So will it go in there? Okay, then we have Every Bone a Prayer, and it does pass our test. This one was the one that looked closest to not passing, but I got this one in Asheville, which this book takes place in the Appalachian Mountains. Is the writer Kentucky? Berea, Kentucky. I've been there. I just spent the night on the way to Chicago, but you know, then this is our really tall paperback, and this is The Last House on the Street by Catcher in a Word, and it's looking good so far. Yeah, that's seriously how I decide if I'm buying a book or not. Then Beverly Bonfitch is Dead, right on the nose, 3 paragraphs. And come on books. That's fine. Okay, and then our last one. What is happening here? Okay, this is another one I got in Asheville. That is Even As We Breathe, and this writer is from North Carolina and is in the Cherokee Nation. So yes, it does pass our test. So now we have, where's my phone? Okay, it's behind me. But we have all this empty room here, and this basket has these books that I was just showing you came from this basket to go into this basket, so we can put more books in this basket now. I got to over the halfway point into In the Weeds according to Storygraph because Goodreads said something completely different. So I'm it sounds like they're talking into something, but it's a car, I think. But okay, so on Storygraph it said I got to 52%, and on Goodreads it was still in the 40% range. But I'm not really feeling that much towards this book, and I did look, and the average rating on Goodreads is a 3.90 when the first book in the series was a 3.91. So just by that one little bit, the first book is better. And I don't know if I think it's better. They feel pretty much the same to me. The first book I did give a 3 stars to. I know on Goodreads, I don't know if I gave it like, you know, decimal. So the characters, so Beckett, is that his name? Yeah, was my favorite character in the first book, but he's better as a side character than a main character. Like, he's fine. And they are developed, they have these backstories, but I don't feel a connection. And then Evelyn, I don't really like her. Like, I don't hate her, but the situation that she's in, she's not really happy anymore with her job and all of that, and is just feeling really disconnected and dissatisfied. And I'm like, you didn't have to sign with this company. You, like, she put herself in this situation, but isn't really taking accountability for that. And just her being a grown woman and not taking accountability for her actions, just, I don't like that. I just think she's annoying. And like, she just fell into this pond, and it's like a cold March day, and she's shaking everything, and she's like, I fell in the pond. Like, okay, again, she's all cutesy, and I'm like, they're all freaking out. Like, why does, like, they're worried she'll get frostbite. I'm like, why does nobody call 911? And then Atmosphere, I think this just takes all the stereotypes of a small town, how there's like a phone tree and all this stuff, and like everybody knows everybody's business. Like, I just feel like it's very much small town amplified. The writing is fine. The chapters are kind of long, and I had that issue in the first book, but with the audiobook, I don't really feel bogged down or anything. And then the plot, since I don't feel a connection with the characters, I don't really care about what's happening, but I do think the romance elements do feel authentic. But I know a third act breakup's gonna happen, and third act breakups I despise, but that's just how romance books, the format of them. But hopefully it doesn't, because I've seen a lot of people don't like them, so hopefully authors start steering away from doing that. So those are my thoughts on that. I don't know what I'm going to do later after I film this, because I kind of ate during reading a little bit, so I might just have a little snack and check in with y'all later. Maybe I don't know, because I don't think I'll read a quarter of my book. My mood read. I've been having issues with the focus on both of my cameras lately, which is super annoying. I'm like, is it my eyes or the cameras? But it's the cameras. But it is Wednesday. I have some book mail to open with y'all, and then I finished a book this morning. I finished the Best American Short Stories of 2006, edited by Ann Patchett. I give this a 2.6. So how I came to that rating is I gave a star rating to every story in the collection, and then I just averaged that out, and that ended up being a 2.6. So I will be unhauling this book. So I got this from a little library, and it's gonna go to another little library. But this was still, I did enjoy it, because I mean, that does round up to a 3-star, but there were just a lot of stories in here that did nothing for me. My favorite ones were, and this is in no particular order, The Ambush by Donna Tartt. That one made me laugh out loud. Secret by Maxine Swan. So Much for Artemis by Patrick Ryan. I think that one was my absolute favorite. And then Refresh by Benjamin Percy. So this definitely started out strong, and then it just got average. And then my last favorite was The Casual Carpool by Catherine Bell. But this did come out in 2006, so these stories are taking place in the early 2000s, and that was just very nostalgic for me. And a lot of the stories I named had young characters, be it children or teenagers, and that just, the authors did a great job at showing that nostalgia and what it was like to be a kid at this time. And what is happening in there? Oh, my cat, he has a cardboard thing that I let him do his calls on. That's what was happening. It's right behind y'all. So this one I pick up if you're interested, and maybe just read the stories that I suggested. So that's that. And my next morning read is gonna be this one that I'm gonna open with y'all. So Beautiful Sad Eyes, Weary Waiting for Love by R.M. Drake and R.H. Sen. So I just have to get into this plastic here. That's very scary. I did not want to damage the books. I saw this at Barnes & Noble back in like January. And I was like, that's really cool. I want it. So here we are now. I didn't buy it just today or anything like that. But this is a poem told in 2 parts. So I guess we start with Beautiful Sad Eyes. Get out of here, get out, get out. Which is this one. Look at that cover, that's so beautiful. And oh my gosh, so some of these are really long. I mean, I think are they all one poem, or is this a collection of poems? I think they're a collection, yeah. Robert M. Drake is who did this one. So Beautiful Sad Eyes explores the romance of melancholy. I really like that cover though, that's really pretty art. So I will be starting that tomorrow. And this is a poem told in, so as I told you, the unique and earnest collection from best-selling poets R.H. Sen and R.M. Drake can only be found in this beautiful design box set. Enter here as they bring you face to face with the reality. In order to break through, you must first have the courage to break down. That will make you think. So that's what I'll be starting tomorrow. But I do have some book mail here from Target because I could not find this book at Target. I looked and could not find it. And actually one of the girls I watch on TikTok who I talk about her quite a bit, and I never remember her name. She just got back from visiting Georgia, the country. I can see her face and everything, but I don't remember her name. And usually I'm somebody who remembers names, not faces. So, but this is one of her really anticipated books. I don't know if I discovered this book through her, but I've been looking for it for a while. And I know it was part of the book club pick at Barnes & Noble this month. And I could have bought it then, but it would ultimately be cheaper to buy it at Target than at Barnes & Noble. Yeah, they put all this, so it was like, so I was like, well, it's that big. So this is The Measure by Nikki Ehrlich, and this was a Read with Jenna book club pick. And ooh, deckled edges, I wasn't really expecting that. So let me see what this is about. So 8 ordinary people, 1 extraordinary choice. It seems like any other day you wake up, pour a cup of coffee and head out. But today when you open your front door, waiting for you is a small wooden box. This box holds your fate, the exact number of years you will live. From suburban doorsteps to desert tents, every person on every continent receives the same box. In an instant, the world is thrust into a collective frenzy. Where did these boxes come from? What do they mean? Is there truth to what they promise? As society comes together and pulls apart, everyone faces the same shocking choice. Do they wish to know how long they'll live? And if so, what will they do with that knowledge? What would you guys like to know? I am somebody who likes to know everything that's going on, but at the same time, it's like, do I really want to know how much longer I have left? I can see the plus side to both, because then you can be like, okay, I have this amount of years. I need to do everything. I need to do all these things. I want to focus on doing these things before that date. Or just you live every day like there's no tomorrow. I think I would choose not to know. But then I would just be like, it's sitting there. I need to open it. I need to do it. So, but I think I would choose not to know. There's my reading update this morning. Oh, and another thing, I don't have clear water at my house. The whole city does not have, and I don't live in the city, but the city provides my water. The water is brown. I will insert a picture of it in one of our bathtubs. And the toilet water is brown. Because on Monday night when I took my bath, I was like, it looks like there's a tint, but sometimes back when chronic illness was really bad and I would have to take like 3 baths a day, if I took that many, the water would kind of turn yellow. And I thought just because my dad took his shower later, and since the showers were so close together, that was the reason. And then also when I was putting water in my water flosser, I was like, it looks kind of tinted, but I'm seeing it through a glass, so I wasn't really sure. And then on yesterday, so that was on Monday night, and then yesterday when I was brushing my teeth, I was like, it doesn't really look right. And then and then I saw people on Reddit talking about it, and then the city put out a statement. They're like, it's just iron in the water. Like, I don't think so. But I think it's because they're doing a lot of construction, road construction, putting wires under the roads and all. I think they probably hit a pipe and that put dirt into the water. So I guess it could be iron. I don't know what's in the soil. But yeah, it's gross. So I did pour water into my water flosser today and all of that. So, you know, I don't drink our city's water anyway, because this kind of thing happens so frequently that I don't really think it's safe to be ingesting. So I am always drinking bottled water. I did survive Target today with a severe thunderstorm warning, but I am really sweaty. I bought myself a fan, which I will show y'all when we get back to my room. So it was building that in the heat was just so like, oh my gosh, frustrating, but we got it built and it works well, so that's always good. And I did get a book, my last book of the month. This is Orphea and Eurydice. I don't know if that's how you say that or not. This is a Greek mythology retelling by Elsie John. And y'all know I've read bad Greek retellings and I've read good retellings. I've never read a great Greek retelling. So hopefully, I'm just gonna try different authors until I find a great one, because I am really into this. Like in my movie watching, this is like the era that I'm in, is like the Greeks and Egyptian time period. So I would like to find good books. Like no other retelling will compare to The Red Tent. That was fantastic. So I'm like, I want to find more ancient retellings, but again, I've never found a great one. So this one is Their Love Transcends Every Boundary. Can it cheat death? So Orphea dreams of something more than the warrior crafts she's been forced to learn. Hidden away on a far-flung island, her blood sings with poetry, and her words can move flowers to bloom and forests to grow. But her father, the sun god Apollo, has forbidden her this art. A chance meeting with a young shieldmaker, Eurydice, gives her the courage to use her voice. After wielding all her gifts to defeat one final champion, Orphea draws the scrutiny of the gods. Performing her poetry, she wins the protection of the goddesses of the arts, the powerful muses who welcome her to their sanctuary on Mount Parnassus. Orphea learns to hone her talents, crafting words of magic infused with history, love, and tragedy. When Eurydice joins her, Orphea struggles with her desire for fame and her budding love. As her bond with the gentle shieldmaker grows, she joins the Argonauts on their quest for the Golden Fleece. Facing dragons, sirens, and ruthless warriors on the voyage, Orphea earns unparalleled fame, but she longs to return to Eurydice. Yet she has a darker journey to make, one which will see her fight for her love with all the power of her poetry. I definitely could finish this book today. I have about 34 minutes left in the audiobook, but I don't feel like it. So I'm gonna finish it tomorrow. But I got to like 80 something percent. Y'all know the different sites vary with what percent I'm at. But yeah, this I am not liking. It's gonna be in the 2-star range. First, let's talk about the characters. So I do not feel or see the chemistry between these two people that forms a connection. I do not see that. I do not feel that. And then the third act breakup, they haven't officially broken up yet, but that's the chapter I just read. I'm like, fuck off. It's just, these misunderstandings. So I'm going to say some spoilers. So if you don't want to hear spoilers for In the Weeds by B.K. Morrison, skip to the next timestamp. Misunderstanding. So she goes to Durham. I don't know if that's Durham, North Carolina or wherever, just as she goes there to talk over some business stuff of switching companies that she's working for, or I don't even know. She's a social media influencer. A management company, I don't know what it is, but so she's going there to switch jobs, and he is also on a road trip for work to go pick up some stuff for the farm that he works at. And the guy, Beckett, he gets back to his house and Evelyn is nowhere in sight. And so he's like freaking out. He's like, oh my gosh, she abandoned me. Because as I've told y'all, this is a second chance romance. So the first time they ever had a one night stand, technically a 2-night stand, she just left in the night and that was that. So he's very scared that she's going to abandon him again. And I don't know why he has these abandonment issues. Usually it stems from somewhere, but like his family's fine. And I mean, it was like a one night stand. Like, yes, I do think if you're in that situation, you should be like, I'm leaving now, bye. But I don't think it's enough to warrant this. And this anxiety, I guess. But I mean, anxiety is something that is irrational. So he's like freaking out, and she gets back and she did leave him a note. We don't know what happened to that note, but he has like 5 pets and lives on a farm. So I'm like, there are so many things. A cat could have knocked the note off the table and all that. So she says, she's like, I left you a note on the table. I don't get why you're so upset with me. And he's like, there was no note. And she's like, you didn't go look in my room and see I left all my stuff here? And he's like, no, I didn't want to see an empty room. It would break my heart. Like, dude. So if somebody would have told me, oh, I left a note, I would have been like, oh, okay. So I have 5 cats, so something could have happened. It could have fell. Or she should have told some of the other people in their friend group, since I guess they're not texting. I guess he doesn't have a phone. I don't know. He does have a phone, so I don't know why she didn't just text him being like, hey, I am going to Durham to do this job stuff for my business. It's just so like illogical. All of this stuff is just very out there. And yeah, so honestly, if he would have freaked out like that, I'd be like, okay, you don't trust that I wouldn't have left the note there, I'm out. So there, he obviously has some trust issues. That's not going to be addressed in the book, because I don't think the book seems to think that his reaction is wrong at all. But also I do think she has some issues. She should have told him in some way, while you're out of town. Like, as I said, yes, she did leave the note, but I mean, she didn't think to tell anybody, like, hey, because this is a town where she is visiting, so she didn't think to tell any of the people on the farm where she's living, like, hey, I'm going to be out of town. Or she didn't think to text him, hey, I'm going to be out of town, or hey, I'm running late, so I'm not going to be home. I don't get it. That's just so immature. I don't know how old these characters are. It hasn't said. But I mean, they're out of college, have working jobs, so like they're old enough to be mature and not be in this kind of situation. Vlog today. TMJ is flaring up today, which is super annoying. So that's why I had my thing on. I don't know what to call this. I don't actually heat this up. I have before, but just to keep my posture good. Let me lower it off a little bit. Okay, so I just finished In the Weeds by B.K. Morrison, and I am giving it a 2.5. So it's not as good as the first book, which is so strange because this is a fake dating book, and I do not like fake dating. And this one is Second Chance, Grumpy Sunshine. So I will be unhauling the series and not trying the other books. So characters, I did not like Evelyn at all. She put herself in these predicaments, and I am like, she takes no, what is the word? I said it earlier in the vlog, no accountability for why she is in the situation that she's in. And she is a social media influencer with millions of followers, so there is privilege there. And I mean, I only say I've been working on this YouTube channel for over 10 years. and only have 900 subscribers, which is fine, but it used to really bother me. And so just to see somebody have all of this, she gets to travel the world and all this, and just to be seeing her complain, screw off. And then Beckett was just better as a side character in the first book, and this one, I hear a jet, and y'all know I'm always like, oh, I see it, have a safe flight. But Beckett is a better side character than he is main character. I don't know why that is, and that was a private jet going to Danville, Virginia, short flight. But he was better as a side character. He just wasn't as intriguing as a main character. He didn't have that sense of humor that he had in the first book, and there was not a lot of character development through this book. I mean, it's mid. It is a mid character development, because I'm not going to say they didn't develop at all, but it wasn't a great, vast development of characters. And I don't understand why he had such abandonment issues. All these baby birds are flying around, but he had such bad abandonment issues, and I don't understand why. There was no reason behind that. And then atmosphere, this takes it stereotypes the small town lifestyle, amplifies that a lot. Every small town stereotype's gonna be in here. But the author did do better, because in this book I thought the eastern shore of Maryland was not done properly at all, but in here that did get a lot better. And then the writing, there were some chapters that were pretty lengthy, but overall it was pretty average. And then plot, since I didn't feel strongly towards the characters, I didn't really care what was happening for the plot, and I didn't really feel a chemistry and connection between these characters to make the romance believable. This book was just happening for the sake of having a romance book be a second chance romance with Grumpy Sunshine. And the Grumpy Sunshine I don't even think was that strong. At the start though, back to thinking about the characters, I really did like how we were seeing their life and their work and all of that, but as soon as the romance starts, all that gets tossed out the window. So I do not recommend picking up this book. If you want to pick up Love Like Farms, I would recommend this one, but I am going to be unhauling these books because I don't see myself rereading or continuing the series. So the next book I'm starting will be around 6. It's like 4 o'clock right now, 3:58. And this is The Flight of Icarus by Caitlin Schneiderhan. This is a Stranger Things book all about the character of Eddie. So I don't know if there's going to be... Okay, from right here, I don't see any spoilers for the show. Hawkins, Indiana. For most, it's simply another idyllic, manicured, all-American town. But for Eddie Munson, it's like living in a perpetual tomb of horrors. Luckily, he has only a few more months to survive Hawkins High. And what is senior year really but killing time between Dungeons and Dragons sessions with Hellfire Club and gigs with his band Corroded Coffin. At the worst dive bar in town, Eddie meets Paige, someone who has pulled off a frickin' miracle. She escaped Hawkins and built a wickedly cool life for herself, working for a record producer in Los Angeles. Not only is she the definition of a badass with killer taste in music, but she might also be the only person who actually appreciates Eddie as the bard he is instead of as the devil incarnate. But the best thing, she's offering him a chance to make something of himself. All he needs to do is get her a demo tape of Corroded Coffin's best songs. Just one problem. Recording costs money. Money Eddie doesn't have. But he's willing to do whatever it takes, even if that means relying on his dad. Al Munson has stumbled back into Eddie's life with another dubious scheme up his sleeve, and yet Eddie knows that this is his only option to make enough dough in enough time. It's a risk, but if it pays off, he will finally have a one-way ticket out of Hawkins. So that will be my next read. No, the lighting isn't perfect in this room. Oh yeah, I should show you all my fan. I know I have kind of a mess going on, but my room's a lot cleaner than it has been. So that's the fan that I got. Sorry, it's doing the touchscreen thing, which is super annoying. So I did want to give you all a reading update on Where the Line Bleeds. I got to 75% tonight and should finish this book before the month is out, so I should finish it over the weekend. I don't have a ton of new thoughts, so I'm just going to do a basic rundown. Characters, I do like following the story of these two brothers and how paths can go vastly different. You can be twins, and yes, there will be a lot of similarities between you, and yes, there is a special connection there, but ultimately your life is not going to go down the same path just because you're genetically related to somebody. This is something I had a class before, and the teacher was like, every single one of you will end up just like your parents. And I don't believe that at all. I think you are going to have traits very similar, but because you obviously do inherit all that kind of thing. You inherit things from your family, but your choices are what make you. And I do think I think everything is like predestined. That's a very confusing topic and not what this book is about. But yes, so you can go down all these different paths even if you are from the same family. I think Crossroads by Jonathan Franzen has that similar theme of you can be siblings, you can be raised in the same house, but just go completely different paths. So I do really like the character dynamics between the two brothers. But as I said, at first it was really confusing knowing who was who. There was a lot of just description and not dialogue and outer and inner dialogue. I wish there had been more of that at the start of the book just to increase the connection I have for the characters. No, I'm not lacking connection to them whatsoever, but I just think it could have been amplified. And then the side characters, the ones that are outside the family, are very much interchangeable to me. The atmosphere is the highlight of this book. It's so good. We just had New Orleans in it, and I've never been there, but it's a city that I am very much drawn to. I really like it as a setting, and the culture and all that's in New Orleans. And as I said earlier, the Southern culture is spot on in this book. I had some cornbread today, and the characters were having some cornbread in here, and I'm like, if there's cornbread, the book is Southern. So the setting, the culture, the dialect, the overall just atmosphere, ecosystem, spot on. And the writing, as I said, it is a lot of description rather than dialogue, and I think that makes it hard to follow the story at times, but I don't think it's not overdone, but it's getting close to it. There's just a lot of description rather than dialogue, so therefore the writing makes it kind of hard to connect with the characters. And then the plot, this is very meandering. This is very much a character story, but I do wish there was just more to the plot. It's very slice of life, and very much if you live in a rural, especially southern area, this is the life of a lot of people. Yeah, I can think of a handful of people who I think could very much relate to this book. It's just how it is, and especially at this time in 2005, America was kind of going and getting close to the recession and all of that. I know it's still a few years off, but I was there. I remember this time. So obviously I remember through the views of a child, and these characters are just leaving their childhood. They're 18. So yeah, those are my thoughts on that one, but I do want to do a wrap up of the week with y'all because I forgot to do it in my last vlog. So I did purchase 2 books this week. I got The Measure, which was $22.53, kind of expensive, but I guess in store it might have, that's always, Target and stores, my store is usually cheaper than the website. So if you are somebody online, and obviously online you had to pay for shipping and all of that, but then I got the Orphea and Eurydice for $15.19. I finished 2 books this week, that being In the Weeds, which I gave a 2.5, didn't enjoy, and then The Best American Short Stories 2006, which I gave a 2.75. It was good, but the majority of the stories were pretty average. And then I started several books this week, and The Weeds was one. Beautiful Sad Eyes, the poetry collection, I started today, and then I started Flight of Icarus, which if y'all want my full and final thoughts on that, you're gonna have to wait till next week's vlog. But I've read, Monday I read 97 pages, Tuesday 142, and on Wednesday 182, and today it looks like I'll be reading over 100 pages once again, and that's I would like to read like over 200. That's like, if I read over 200, I treat myself to a thrifting piece, buying something secondhand. But yeah, I like to read over 100 pages a day. So that's the vlog. I hope you guys enjoyed. I hope you had a good June, because we are, you can see my calendar right there, headed into July next week. The next vlog will start on July 1st. So that's always great starting month, start my birthday month. I don't limit my book buying. Crazy. But yeah, so I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you made it through this whole video, leave a beachy emoji in the comments below and tell me what your favorite book you read in the month of June was. For me, it was The Winners by Frederick Bachman, and I will see you in my next video. Bye. And don't forget to ring that notification bell and like, comment, subscribe, you know, rate, comment, subscribe, I don't know, whatever y'all want to do.